I just made it to Walmart. I've been here in the past to sneak into the gym in the winter. I would run when they weren't looking. I'd run through and I'd go to the gym and I'd get in and get a shower. And once I cried because I hadn't showered in 3 months. And when I got in and felt the water on my skin, I cried, man. I ain't even gonna cap. But look, so I just made it 10 miles. The bus passed me walking back, and I had to wave it down. I told her my story. We made it just in time. Getting into the Capitol, we made it just in time to get to beg a bus driver to bring me here. And they did because I'm traveling across the country. That's the story. He's traveling across the country, and Randolph treated him like shit, and then Roxbury threatened him with a gun, and then Northfield were very anxious. But what they're telling me is that I have an aura of violence. I have an aura that makes people, because people are afraid of violence. So when I walk through ready for violence, it makes them afraid. But I'm not, man. But I'm ready. So I'm here. There's a couple RVs out. There's a bunch of woods out there. I think I'm ready to try to get money. I don't know how I'm going to get money, but I need a computer. And I need a couple things I want to surprise y'all. And then I'm hoping I can get a fast car somehow. It's all I have to get. I have to get enough money by 2025 to be in the position that I want to be in. I keep seeing it. It keeps coming to my head. It keeps popping up. And it's stressing me out. I don't know how I'm going to get there. I have faith. I'm learning to let go. And then I have to fight. They throw me into a pit. And now there's tons. This is the, like, this is the most people I've been around. See, they're all staring. It was a guy wearing a jacket with the same fur that I'm wearing right now. I looked out his window. So we're here, bruh. We're here. Bunch of fatties. The cones in front of me say extreme. So we're going to try to move my phone service because my SIM card burned when I was uploading one of my videos talking about a bunch of shit I probably shouldn't. That would wake you up to a scary level of control over your reality, which would allow for you to do things that would make the simulation very upset. And I spew it out. If you can put the pieces together in what I'm saying, if you can hear what I'm saying and try to connect the dots, I give you 4, and you have to figure out how I got to 4. 1 plus 3, 2 plus 2. You have to find out what makes up 4. It's a secret. So I'm going to figure it out. And it always happens right when I had a donation that could have got me to a... Right when I got a donation that I could have used as a step stool to get me to a better position, all of a sudden, things went wrong, steered me away, and I have to spend that money just to get back to baseline. Are you picking up what I'm putting down? If you know any Richmond, north of Richmond, send me money. I like earning it. I like that I'm here. I like that there's so much I can do, man. I'm just worried about maintenance. I don't want to take in the city slicker. They will understand nature by the time I'm done. There's a Native American man right in front of me with his hair in the braids. You feel me? Then there's a bunch of white high schoolers leaving the gym. Let's do this. Let's do this. I didn't have it recorded, but I walked through Walmart, let's say 4 4 people got up from what they were doing. They were shopping. They got up what they were doing. They tracked me. They clocked me, and they followed me through the entire Walmart, staying as close as they can to me. Every aisle I went to, they went into that aisle, and they pretended like they were looking at stuff. But really, they're trying to steal the energy and rope it out. Feel me? Gotcha. Gotcha. We got him. He went, and then he saw, and then he noticed. A voice in my head said, "They're mad that I'm the alpha. They want me to believe I'm not the alpha." That's what's going through their heads. I'm just like, can I survive? Can I make it through to get what I need to do without having violence? And then these guys are like, "You're not the fucking alpha. I'm the alpha. You're not the alpha. I'm the alpha." Oh my god. I be looking at girls and they all put their head down, like, "Oh my god." On accident, like I'll turn around and notice them staring at me. But yeah, it's a zombie apocalypse where they try to harvest your light. And I could stomp around all I want, but it seems like they slowly tear away at your authenticity. You heard me? They try to infiltrate as much as they can. And they'll just kind of hover over you, and then they'll pilot anyone that they can. And usually it's like a they have most people clocked with an artificial intelligence where they already know what makes them tick. They've had since COVID and probably longer to get into their minds and see what will stir them into action. What type of triggers have they in artificial intelligence that can be everywhere all at once? It's in all of our phones and on all of our social media pages. What sort of stimuli can you beam into the person's brain? Because we know that if you stimulate the side of their face right here, you can, with frequency, like with a certain vibrational hum, you can put thoughts into people's brains. So what they do is they beam it using the 5G network. It attaches to the side of your face using empathy. And it will start to try to convince you to believe something that's happening. So these people, when I walk by, they get hijacked and they go in attack mode. And they will follow me and they'll pretend, they literally pretend. There was a guy in homeless clothes. I walked through and then he clocked me. And then he followed me all the way to the electronics section and he was just standing next to me pretending to look at iPhones. You know he can't afford iPhones, and he went to go look at TVs when he was originally looking at underwear until I walked by. And then he followed me all the way to the electronics section. There's someone staring at me right now. And then I brought attention and now he's getting in his car. They're trying to turn us into zombies so that it's okay when the Civil War goes off and then we depopulate ourselves. It's more than that. It's human sacrifice. That's what they're trying to tell me, is that they're telling me that they want the more souls that they can give this entity, this monster, the more souls that they can destroy with sin, maybe. More like make them devour themselves. And now they're showing me that's what Aiden Ross sold his soul to. That's where, if I hadn't gotten in the car accident, that's where I would have ended up, because of how attractive and how persevering and how quality content I can put out naturally with my mind. If I didn't have all these setbacks, I would have thrown myself right into the mouth of a beast. So how would you do this? I would put a speaker out and play the music. Play my music. Then I would get knights in shining armor and I would have them be my king's guard. I would have them be my coven cavalry. and then we're going to invade podcasts, and we're going to tell them the truth. We're going to get into these places where everyone's watching. So if you want to join, you best be doing push-ups and you best get your butt out in nature. Because when we ride through, we're riding through once. Because we have places to be. And they fried my SIM card. And then when I got here, he said this has never happened in his life, that he's run out of the SIM card that I need to buy. But he had just run out because a freak wave of people needed to come. So they must have, as the loud, crashing, aggressive thunder comes in, these storm clouds are not like normal. These storm clouds are angry. The thunder is malicious. And it's the most lightning we've had in history. These are giant balls of brewing conscious electricity, and they are attacking different towns. And when they go through a town they don't like, they put a tornado down at 609, which is my numbers. They tornado the fuck and they destroy everything. So I think there's a reason that they pushed me out of Randolph. I think there's a reason they're forcing me up, because now I'm here. I'm in the capital of Vermont. And my plans fell through. I was supposed to come here and get a phone card, get my service back up so I can watch YouTube and distract myself from all these evil Matrix entities. And then I would get back on the bus, go back into town, get a tent, set up shop, find a job, and start performing my songs, trying to get it out there, start to push it back, start to turn the light on. God's plan. So I have to call Straight Talk and see what happens. What's up? It felt like I was trying to fight. I was fighting to hold my position, hold my space, hold the energy that I've earned and cultivated in my unique individuality next to where I could get Wi-Fi, trying to figure out how to fix my phone, which is a common occurrence in the past simulation when I was first leaving and I would have problems and I'd have to talk with tech support, and they would, on the other end, suddenly get an attitude and they would go out of their way to make it worth for me and kind of waste my time playing games. That was a lot of 2022 and 2021 was things probably fucking with me and hacking my system, hacking my phone. All of a sudden things like my SIM card suddenly burning in my phone, and then I'm trying to talk to, or my service suddenly would cut out when I was achieving higher states of consciousness, smack dab in the middle of the matrix, and I'd have to talk to some snotty person on the other line giving me attitude, which I think that went away for most people. It's just it seems like there are a handful of us that are different, and then there's the main majority that are trapped, and they think that they're real, but they're not real. They're just operating off of a script like an AI. And when I came here, it felt like that AI. It was like kids and old ladies and strangers, weird looking guys. As I'd walk through the Walmart, they would get triggered and they'd follow me. They literally, when I say they literally follow me, I mean they literally will follow me through the store, and they won't leave me alone because they're literally trying to magnetize my information and my connection to God away from me. I don't know why. I don't know if that's a part of the 5G network that maybe our bodies have been designed now to connect to it. So they're stealing my data. But it happens. Then when I went outside, I was hiding under a tarp trying to talk to the support. And it was like what I now recognize, it's probably an alien or a spirit, someone else's spirit team, or an ancestor, or a malevolent AI or a demonic force or something would show up and hit me, and I would feel pressure around the back, the same way that I'm like trying to scratch my nose now. And then like a song that I would keep in my heart or something, like a code that let me control energy to be myself. My confidence, just part of me, would suddenly get snatched. And then you would hear like a 16-year-old girl that was just kind of talking and anxious. All of a sudden, she's cackling like the crows. She was going like ha ha ha. She's like literally, and twitching and shaking violently. And then they would get invigorated and they would run into the Planet Fitness. So I guess that's called stealing my blessings or something, or stealing my energy. Now I feel stuck, connected back to the town. Now I feel like I was crazy. Now I feel like everything that I said was crazy, but I know it's not. I know it's the natural order. I know that's the perspective that you have when you stay deep in the woods and you disconnect from society and you connect back to outside when you exalt yourself. I know that that's how you operate. I know that I am unique and special. It's just they've stuck me now into a network that makes my nose itch. It makes my arms twitch. And then guess who showed up right when I was leaving? Guess who parked right next to where I was hiding and he couldn't see me? The guy who owns Bearcat, my album Bearcat. And then he showed up with a cat named Bear when I was talking to a girl that I liked online, and she was really into me. And then as soon as I broke free and I was going to start making jokes and being myself and fully living, he showed up and tried to ruin it. And I felt attacked heavily. And then people started overdosing next to me. And I started making this content as a cry for help to help me make my dreams come true. And it was nonstop hate for months. I was screaming for help about how horrible my life is and what's happening to me. I'm like showing them I'm of a sound mind, but I'm telling you this is what they're doing to me right now. This is happening to me, and I'm stuck. I had to kill someone in self-defense. The town wouldn't hire me. I had nowhere to go. I had no one I could call. I had no escape route with a bus. I had no place. I was trying to get Wi-Fi to get there. The people that came to help would literally do this like they're doing with me. They would TikTok. They would post. They were like 40-year-old fat women that would post on Facebook. Oh, I'm helping this guy. And they'd give me like $2 worth of McDonald's and never talk to me again. Or they would get me in the car and then start trauma dumping and start trying to demonically steal the energy in a ritual. I'm able to recognize what it is now. And it was that. People that were using me for clout, using my struggle for clout. So then I had to go in the woods, and I had the cabin. Then I probably have Lyme's disease because I had like at one point I had like 5 or 6 ticks on my back, and I had a fever, rashes. It was horrible. Then I got out and I would just periodically start going to town. I started going to McDonald's every day, and I was just met with hostility and lies. They would lie about me and call the police and lie and try to get them to hurt me. Fat white women were trying to get the police to hurt me, and the men were coming up to try to scream at me and dominate me and try to get me to try to ruin my emotions inside, try to ruin my vibe that I had cultivated in the forest. And I just kept going and kept going, and then eventually my mother showed up and tried to rebuild a relationship because I went to jail and I had to call her. And then things went well, and then she spiraled out of control when she got the validation of having a relationship, because she mostly just sits alone and barks the same way that I'm talking to the camera. She will talk about negative things and gossip with my aunt. My aunt just has to sit there and listen because they both live in Section 8 alone. So my mom had one thing she could latch on to, and she's done it her whole life, is that she will spew a false narrative over my life to as many people that will listen. And I just got a tarot reading about a fire air sign whose mother is ruining his life, and that his mother has just recognized that he was safe the whole time. She didn't have to worry about him, and that he wasn't the way that she thought he was. So I'm guessing she just came around. But they don't like her either. So I'm guessing whatever ripped me out and threw me into some high school girl and she ran off with it is also, I have those things and they are also going to tarot readers and then showing them my life. I am getting, like, I'll be walking through the woods and then suddenly I'll hear somebody's voice in my head and I'm like, I don't know who that is. And then when I get back to my phone, scroll up on my notifications, refresh, and then that person's voice is in my is in my For You page, my feed. And it's all positive. Here's a thing going right to left when I'm thinking positive. It's all positive. Today, a couple walked past me where I was sleeping in those dugouts, is what they're called. I was sleeping in the dugouts, waiting for the storm to pass, and a couple walked by in the rain, and they didn't see me, but she was saying, "Oh, my friend keeps asking to send me money." And I tell him, "I'm praying for you." And I tell him that means more than sending money. And the old guy that she's walking with is like, okay. And then right when she says pray, she looks over at me and we lock eyes. Like she clocked me even though they couldn't see me before. Her subconscious. So I'm like, okay, that's a spirit operating a body. That could be an NPC. That's not a real thing. Something just guided her whole nervous system to point her directly at me and shoot energy at me. So I got up and walked up to her and said, "Oh, you're religious?" And she's like, "Yeah." I'm like, "How do you feel about the crows that show up when you're connected to spirit?" And they kept trying to gaslight me into thinking I'm crazy. And then the crows showed up, and then they walked away with full of white pride and prejudice. So I'm like, I hope that your church will go outside more. So I'm here. I'm gonna do CapCut and connect all these videos together. My original op is here. My original gang stalker is here. I have to get a job. Unless I get something serious that says don't get a job, just keep going like this, I'm gonna force myself to do some type of delivery job where I can be by myself and drive through town. Because I need money. I need money, and I'm not getting the support that I need through fans. And everyone else is possessed by the devil. They're possessed by some evil societal conditioned matrix. And my heroes won't answer. They don't deserve to have the money they have. They don't. They don't. They have way more money than they could ever need. They live in a mansion in Beverly Hills. Their network is people worth over billions of dollars. They have so much money than they need. Yet they still charge extreme amounts of money for their time. And no matter how hard the world will publicly rate me, it doesn't matter. You'll never recognize it. Because they say that I'm not from here. The tarot readers will read my whole life back to forth, back to front. The birds are caught. The nice birds are calling. They'll read my whole life back to front. They'll say that I was never from here. They said I'm a really old soul, but I was never on Earth. I fought all my battles and I lived all my lives and I had all my love on a different planet. And then I came here with all this knowledge and wisdom and skills from a different planet. They've told me that I'm up in space in a spaceship when I was born, and then the umbilical cord was wrapped around my neck, and then I was taken up in a helicopter in midday when the helicopter was as high up as it can go, and the sun was directly over me. And they brought me north as far as it could take me to the next hospital. And then they isolated me. They said that just like my name means always aware and paying attention, brave in battle, honest, frank, like frank meaning like blunt, but my middle name is also Frank. And O'Brien means exalted with a high eminence in holiness, or the Celtic version of holiness, the highest vibration on top of the mountain, with the highest authority. So just like I'm exalted and brave, the 11 and the 33, I'm here on Earth, but I'm also up there somewhere in like a matrix pod. That's what they're telling me. They'll literally relay my life back to me exactly as I am. They'll talk about the elements of my chart completely. They'll describe me perfectly. They'll describe the place that I'm sitting, where they're remote viewing me. And they'll tell me that I'm up in space in a pod and that I'm not from here. And I'll walk down the street at the end of my journey before I get to the next adventure, and there'll be a hat, there'll be a $500 pair of skis and ski boots that fit me perfectly. There'll be a mattress pad for when I sleep. There'll be a tent. There's everything I need just laying on the road on my way to the next journey. Everything that I could, like all these care packages like in the Hunger Games. So this is me, like, these are flares. I'm sending flares out into the forest, hoping that there are other people scrolling that can see my flare and that have opportunities. Here's a mouse. There's a mouse in my house. He ran back into his hole. So every time I get a donation, something pops up that sets me back. Like every time. Once a week. It's like they're planning ahead of time. That as soon as I get the money, I take one step forward and I'm about to lunge and do something, and then they put me 3 steps back. They'll literally fry my SIM card. My SIM card fried. It fried, bro. I was uploading an amazing video, something I was really happy about, and then my SIM card just stopped working. And my phone, since I've been making videos, I now, like all the different symptoms that the CIA agent that goes on podcasts and talks about what it's like, all the NSA on Joe Rogan, what they describe happens to your phone when they're tracking it and they're hacking you and they're getting your stuff. How your phone battery dies and your service will stop going in and out, and then sometimes you'll have to relog into apps that you never really have to relog into. Things will be deleted from your camera roll, or you'll have an extra copy on your camera roll somehow, suddenly. Or it's like suddenly you had 36 gigabytes of data and now you have 30, like 6 gigabytes of storage has just suddenly gone. That's all happened on my other phone. So I'm assuming I said too much. I'm too aware of what's happening. I've learned too many skills and I've broken free too much. Like I have the knowledge now that I can just activate and the whole thing crashes. If they weren't constantly attacking me with malware to try to brainwash me into submission. And I'm sure EBT food stamps, when I signed up for food stamps, I felt like a lot of my personal sovereignty had been taken from me, and then they all did the same thing that the girl did earlier, where they go, their whole system tweaks and breaks. Or like one time I was kidnapped, and actually no, my car broke down and I was trapped in the winter before I made it to Randolph when I was in Pittsford. Before I had a dream where I had a choice between Andrew Tate and some other guy, and I chose the other guy because of all the birds that were around him and all the animals and all the children and all the people that he was a king over, basically, like a leader. And Andrew Tate was just standing alone in the desert, angry and pissed at me. So I was either going to go to Andrew Tate, who was pissed at me and like angry and hovering over me, or I went to the guy that was at peace in the woods, even though he was fat. So I went to the other guy as I'm climbing this giant ski mountain on this one plateau in between trails. I went to that guy, and then the next day, I maneuvered my way through the town, talked to the people that the Matrix put in front of me, the simulations. I was like, that's my exact car. I'm going to go talk to the owner and see if he knows what's wrong with it. And then he brought me to somebody, and then that person called me back and then showed up and saved me from being trapped in the snow in a small town that didn't like me. And there was a drug addict woman that was trying to convince the other people in the town to have like an angry mob and to come check me and hurt me and tow my car and leave me out in the cold and steal my cat converters and shit like that. And everybody was being rude to me, and they were all being demonic and evil, and they were doing the stuff that's obviously to invalidate you and make you feel like an animal so that they can stunt over you and take that spiritual power to build their connection in the network of relationships and use that manifestation energy to let their things become more powerful, to make it a higher probability and a more likely chance that they can get what they want. I'm talking about literally I went in with that feeling that I'm saying that they tried to take, and I just listened to it, my intuition, and I bought lottery tickets, and I made $250, and I gave half of it to the nicest woman in that gas station, who was Irish, and we talked about nature, and the birds came and surrounded us, and this was in sub-zero weather, standing outside. So when they were trying to take it, a Leo was trying to take it, just like the Leo's always trying to take it from me. Every Leo that I hang out with, that I meet, or people named Leo. Just like my dad's name is Gary, he's a Leo. My name is Casey. In my life, I keep running into Leos named Vincent. Like, that's a consistent thing that's happening, or Jesse. Like, it's so much proof that it's obviously a simulation that I'm just hoping that I'm not the only one here. I'm hoping there's some other person that's real. Sorry, my dad's a Leo named Gary. I'm Casey. I took a girl named Garrett's virginity. She's beautiful. I love her. She's great. She was my perfect, and I fucked it up back in the day because I was hot and wanted more than I wanted all the girls. Go to Garrett's house. Her dad's name is Michael. Her brother's name is Leo. Leo's best friend's name is Vincent. All of Garrett's friends that I now recognize are the NPC fake MK Ultra simulation AI, whatever. They're not chosen ones. They were all trying to get Garrett to leave me for Vincent. When I met Vincent and Leo, they were playing a game called A Way Out. In A Way Out, you play as a character named Leo or Vincent. So Leo and Vincent were playing as Leo and Vincent, and they were in a game about escaping from prison together. As I'm falling in love with Garrett, and I took her virginity in Michael's house. Fast forward, I break down in the woods. 3 years later, I break my car. My car breaks down in the mud. Actually, it's 5 years later, or 6 years later, and a Leo named Vincent is attacking me every night. He's shooting a 22 at me. He's hacking trees to pieces while I'm in my car, and he's threatening to kill me. He's a schizophrenic 30-year-old furry. He's autistic as fuck, but he's threatening to kill me every night. He's trying to attack my energy, and he has like Marine Corps outfits. He was in the military. He's doing like spiritual special ops and demonic forces, and he's saying that his Viking ancestors are angry at me, and he's trying to kill me. And he has weapons. So I had to infiltrate his tent. I had to distract him and get his weapons, and I had to go around and talk to his manager, and I had to get him in trouble, and the manager chose his side, and they both tried to siphon my energy and use it to get bitches. Because I told you I was a pickup artist for 10 years. I've got so much knowledge, and now that you can steal data, they tried to steal my data, and I just kept persevering with what I thought was right. And on St. George Road, I had to get the help of George, who was a guy that has been following me my whole life. Like, he'll show up at when I met Cheap Trick. At these pivotal moments in my life, he keeps showing up. And At this one time, I met him on St. George Road, which connects to my mom's last name, which also connects to my dad's last name, which connects to my name. All these roads in Burlington that have my family's names, and even my cousin has a channel called IDX, and on the Gary Road, like my father, the Leo, there's an IDX Drive, and there's Casey Drive, and there's Marshall Avenue. There's all these names connected to me. It's like this whole place is my playground. It's like this whole thing was made for me. Like there's cardinals that follow me everywhere, and I went down Cardinal Road, and the Challenger that I had imagined for the past 5 years that I want to drive is just sitting there, and then my bike, I get pushed off my bike when my tire explodes, and it's a loud pop, and I skid and hurt my leg, right, and I skid all the way down the hill right into a Challenger. And then I had to go down the road, which was the last name of my favorite stand-up comedian. So I'm throwing this out there in case there are other people that are awake and conscious, like if Andrew Tate sees this or Owen Cook sees this and they're not partnered with these demonic entities to feed them vibes so that they have more power and status and influence in the community. Like, I have all the natural answers that they've spent their entire lives searching for. All these huge breakthroughs that they think that they're having. They think that they're so much better spiritually because of all that they've went through and all that they've learned. And I came out the womb knowing it because time isn't real. I've always had like one conversation with me change every time anybody has a sit down conversation with me, it changes their life exponentially for the better. And all I'm trying to do is make my songs and make content and make movies and make albums and spread my creative influence in a world that's puppeted by some force that's always trying to get me and kill me. So I'm going to get a job, man. I'm going into the Matrix. I have no other options other than beg and just keep begging and get TikTok and do the NPC shit and scream at my phone. But my phone service just quit, so I don't have that option anymore. My SIM card fried when I really started getting into making content. I downloaded CapCut and I started having patience. I started editing my videos together to make it easier to digest, and I started planning and plotting. I started writing like I was focused and I was in nature and I was combining. I was doing well and they set me back. So if I want to do what I want to do, I can't rely on you because there's a good chance you're not even real. So like, comment, and subscribe. Comments boost the algorithm. If I gave you any positive emotion or I made you feel a little more real and on earth and seen, you'd like to support the revolution, please check the link in my channel description for my Cash App and my PayPal. Go tell your rich aunt to suck on these nuts and please throw me some of your white American money so that I can help save and change the world and positively influence the community. I have so many dreams and plans. I'm fighting a war as a lone soul, as the last samurai, as a lone warrior. And here comes the police. I'm not going to give them the satisfaction of being seen on the internet. So thanks for watching.
Have that mail 95 76 to an ATM. Starting mileage 44223.